to Melody, and then I'm going to put myself on mute so that we don't hear lots of noise in the background. So thank you, Melody.
Thank you. Okay, everybody.
Okay.
My name is Melody Carleen Norton, and I own Melody Carleen Photography, and I am rebranding Headshots Branding Photography right now. And this is our second class for teaching the visual branding class. And today we had technical difficulties, so my big screen that has all of my slides and everything is invisible, but we're going to make do, and we're going to work on through the class. The first thing that I want to do is review a little bit about what we did last week. Now, I think there's some new people here. Who was here last time? Kurt, were you here? No, and Cindy was. And Brenda, I'm trying.
No, I wasn't. This is my first meeting.
And Mo, it's your first time too, right? And Barb, I think
I was there.
Okay, good. All right, well, I'm going to review some of it to see about your homework. So there's some of you that may not do it, but it'll give you a little bit of idea of what we talked about last time, because it's a really important class, and if you get a chance to click the link and watch the first branding class, it's a foundational class, and it'll be used for everything as we go through on building your brand. And so we're going to review some of that. I'm going to ask a question. Does anybody remember how long you have to get somebody's attention on your visual branding when there's an online viewer to your account? So let's see here. 3 seconds. I didn't see any hands. I'm going to have to switch. I'm on my phone, so I might switch through to say, or you can even hit unmute yourself and answer if it's quiet out there. But you have 3 seconds to grab somebody's attention. So it's really important, the words that you use and the images that you use to tell the story. And then we also asked ourselves the question, would you do business with you based on what you see if you were looking at your website or your social media? So that's a question to ponder, and really look at your social media and ask yourself that question. We discussed that in today's marketplace, every business, no matter the size, should have a marketing plan that includes social media. Just so you can get a finger on the pulse of this group, I'll ask you a few questions. Who has a website for your business? Raise your hand. I'm gonna take a look. I know Kim has a website. She has 2. Kurt does. I like the thumbs up, Kurt. That's cool. Let's see here. Brenda, do you have a website? Mo?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And I can't see Mo or Brenda, so you're going to have to talk to me, you guys. Oh, and Mo does. Yes, I can read that, Mo. Thank you. So
Melody.
Yes.
This is Cindy.
Yes.
I chose not to do image potential. There's a new business idea that I've been floating around in my head for about a year. So I thought it'd be fun to use this class to play around with that. So I have a domain name purchased, but obviously there's no site because the business hasn't even been fully created yet. So just FYI, I'm not using.
With me, you're going to be website creating too as you rebrand yourself, right? And that's what I have, a website, melodycarleen.com, and that's for Melody Carleen Photography. But I'm tightening my niche for Headshots Branding Photography, and I'm in the middle of creating a new brand and website for that. And so some of you may be doing that as well. And if you don't have a website, then maybe it's something you want to think about, these things we're going to talk about when you do. So I was going to ask yourself, how do you feel that your website is reflecting your current brand? So if you're thinking, I've changed a lot since that website, then you might want to think about doing some rebrand, and ask yourself, do the images do a good job of telling your brand story? So that's the other question you want to ask yourself. Maybe you need some updated photos or some that do tell the story. I bet all of you use Facebook, am I right? Anybody who doesn't use Facebook? Because you may not. It may not be your social media platform. Kurt, do you use it very much? You shake your head no. Oh, yes, you do. Okay. So everybody uses Facebook. So how often would you say you post? Do you post annually, monthly, weekly, daily?
I'd
Ask
say
yourself
every other day.
every other day. That's good. And anybody else? Anybody else need help in the posting part? You don't use it for branding? Okay, so what do you do again, Brenda? Oh, you do the, you teach nonprofits, right? Trying to ask Brenda. Yes, she teaches nonprofits and things. So that might be something you want to set up a separate Facebook for, and you can have more than one group or more than one Facebook page. So keep that in mind. Do you feel that your ideal clients, I'm looking for, you just started a business with Facebook. That's good. So this is good timing. You can learn these things, Mo, as you're starting this new one. Do you feel your ideal clients are following your Facebook page? So the people that you would look for to hire you, do you feel like they're following you? Or is it something that you want to focus on building more of those target people? So I'm here at meeting lunch. Hey, Kim. She's eating lunch. Are you interested in learning about Facebook strategies? Because I'm kind of planning future classes. So show of hands or typing in the little thing, because your words come up in front of me, so that's great. Who would like to learn more about the Facebook basics, like setting up a profile? Does anybody need help with that? Nope. Okay, great. Who wants to learn more about Facebook stories? Anybody there? About how, yes, okay. How many people would like to learn about Facebook ads? Would like to learn something about that, on like doing the ads? Because I'm gonna get a pen here. That's advanced stuff. So Cindy, yes, that's the advanced stuff, and that's where you really want to target that. Is there anything else from Facebook you'd like to learn? So unmute yourself and let me know if there's anything else regarding Facebook. You'd like to talk about blasts? Okay.
I have two Facebook sites.
Mm-hmm.
One is personal stuff, one is for business. I have a newsletter that I post on my business, but I'm not familiar with all the tools that are available to market my business on Facebook.
Okay.
And I don't know how to keep it separate. I don't want the information on my personal Facebook to be duplicated on my business. I don't know how to, segment them so there's not overlap.
Okay. I can address that in a future. I will tell you this, you're not supposed to post business on your personal Facebook. So you can get in trouble for that. I know people who had like 4,000 followers, and then they posted something for their business on it, and someone turned them in, and they shut down their whole thing, and they lost all of those 4,000 followers and people. But what you can do, and you have a separate account, that's good. You have the separate account, and then you post on your business page, and then you can share from your business page on your personal page. So you can like share it, that's legal, but like trying to ask for business on a personal page is not allowed. So
yeah, I don't do that.
Yeah, that's good. I just want to make sure everybody knows about that, but I'll add that into the future class. So some good. How many of you use Instagram? Any Instagram users? I'm looking at you. No.
I'm new at
Cindy,
learning.
you use it for what, Kurt?
I said I'm a new Instagram user.
You're a newbie. Okay. And I'm going to look at the other.
I'm a newbie.
I started an Instagram for my podcast, Hello Human.
Mm-hmm.
I probably would start an Instagram account for this new business idea that's totally unrelated to what I do now. It's gardening related, just so you know.
Okay, so like it's a personal fun Instagram. That's a great place to start to learn about it and share things you love with gardening.
Because with gardening, obviously the visuals are really, really important.
Yes, yes. So in the future when I can also do a class on taking good photos for your Instagram or for your social media as far as DIY. It's always best to hire a pro, but sometimes you just need to know some good tips to use your own phone or camera and get that in there so they look good. So since you guys are a bunch of newbie, would you guys like to learn basic things like setting up a profile, or the best way to do that? Because there's some ways that you save, like you get a place in your profile to put a website. So, and you can refer to that link. So there's strategies there to lead people to a landing page or to your website, but you only think you get one. So are you guys wanting to learn anything like Instagram stories or hashtags or any of those types of things with Instagram in the future?
Yes.
I participated in the one that we had earlier this year. I missed the meeting where she discussed the hashtags, so I'd be interested in hearing about those.
Okay. And there's Instagram ads there as well. So I can do an Instagram class in the future too, because really they're really using it like the yellow pages, because you can go to Instagram and you can hashtag certain things to look for something specific that those hashtags come up to for. Like if someone was looking for a Peoria photographer, they could hashtag Peoria photographer, and they can do different searches like that to actually find Instagram profiles that meet their needs. So that's kind of like, I guess, the millennials yellow pages is what I call it. So we could do something on that in the future. So are there any other social media platforms you guys are using right now? So Twittering, are you using Twitter? Is there anything else? Okay. And I can't see the others, so make sure you say something. I can see Barb, Cindy, and Kurt. Brenda,
Melody.
Yes, LinkedIn. I see that.
I use LinkedIn. I wouldn't use it. I wouldn't use LinkedIn for this new business idea.
Okay.
I use it a lot for image potential though.
Okay. And I'm looking at adding that for headshots because a lot of people would be there to want that. So there's also things like the basics of visual branding, like your logo, color palette, font, graphics, or images that tell your brand story that you want to kind of repeat or use repeatedly through your brand. Like if you have your brand colors or those types of things. If you would like to learn more about that, let me know. You can say so now, or if that's not something that is a need, that's fine. I want to address the things that are in need. So I see you, Cindy. Anybody else that, because those things are really important with repeating your brand. And you can accomplish that by hiring a pro, and Brenda too. You can accomplish that by hiring a pro to do it, or you can do DIY, and I can give you a little bit of information just to help you begin with that. And they're all absolutely important pieces of your business and your brand, and should be used with consistency so that your clients can become familiar with your visual brand. At the last class, I gave a challenge that says when you're watching television in the next couple of weeks, to watch and see commercials that use the branding colors. They use it in the clothing they're wearing. They're using it in the backdrop. Did any of you pay attention to any commercials in the last couple of weeks that were a great example of using those branding colors repeatedly? Like Progressive Insurance, they're yellow and blue. And if you watch that, everything is yellow and blue. And it starts to get where you look at almost any commercial now, if you pay attention to the colors that seem to be repeated in the backdrop or in clothing, they're their brand colors when you see what their logo is. So that's a great tip for you to remember when you're setting up. And now just really tune in to all the commercials in the next couple of weeks. Watch every single one, and you'll start learning like, oh, I get it. This company is, yellow and blue. This one's orange. This one's red. And I start playing a game because they'll even have the brand colors sitting in the backdrop. And I go, I bet their brand color is XYZ. I Google it, and it is. So that's something kind of cool to pay attention from. So, but a brand is much more than a logo or your branding colors. We discussed how brand was an experience, and it's a set of expectations, memories, stories, and relationships that together account for the consumer's decision to choose you and your service over any other. And creating an experience is really where that's at. That's where all marketing is about. It's creating an experience for your brand or for what you do, and it's telling that story visually. If you can get people to feel something when they're looking at your marketing, you're right on the right track, because that's what moves people or attracts people towards you. So that framework was what we discussed, was to ask yourself, what does your brand do? So what problem do you solve? What do you help people achieve? And what fears do you diminish? So I wanted to know if I'm going to see if you guys anybody did your homework, or you can just answer that question. Number one, what problem do you solve? Can anybody answer that? What your business, what you do, or what you sell, what problem do you solve? Can any think about that for a second? Like for me, I solve the problem of people having images that they love to represent their brand or to tell their story. So that's what I do. So Barb does, you solve health issues. And, oh, Kim said, wait a minute.
Hang on, I'll tell you, because Brenda talks about that all the time in her business. I've decided to build my business, you know, in creating your business plan. In your business plan, you have to know what problem you're trying to solve. So it just cracked me up that you asked the same exact question. I was like, oh, we've heard that before.
Well, because if you just say,
I laughed.
Sorry, Melody.
hey, but the good news about different trainings and hearing this is if you hear it enough times, maybe you'll believe it. And it's like, oh my goodness, because you can't, sometimes it takes hearing something several times before it sinks in. But if you want to just set up a social media and just put helter-skelter posts on there, not with a plan, then you won't get as good of results as if, yes, Kurt's is severe disability. So you know what your problem is to solve. That's number one. Everything should be about solving somebody's problem when you have a business, typically. That's normally, there's a core to it. Why do they need you? What problem do you solve? And the next one would be, what do you help people achieve? So like maybe Kim, what do you help people achieve? I know you can answer this.
Success.
Yes, you help people achieve success. And that's one of your keywords. I see it with everything you do, and it becomes part of your brand. So anybody else can answer, what do you help people achieve? Yes, Cindy.
This is Cindy. Again, this is not image potential.
It doesn't have to be. It could be.
I'm having fun, you know, thinking about this idea. So it would be my daughter and I doing this together. So that's why I'm using the pronoun we. We help busy homeowners and novice gardeners create beautiful plantscapes that reflect their authenticity and lifestyle.
So good, you did your homework on that, and you know what it is you're trying to help people achieve. So great, you have that statement, that's part of your foundation. We're gonna go back to that. And what fears do you diminish? Does anybody diminish any fears by what they do? You can achieve all three of these things, but maybe there's one that's stronger than the other, you know? So like,
I said the fear of wasting money on plants.
and that's excellent.
Not sure what they're doing. Their plants die or they don't perform well because, you know, and then they're kind of ashamed of how their containers look or how their garden looks, or yeah, just the fear of wasting time and money trying to put their own plantscapes together.
Very good. So anybody else with that one? But those are the three for the people who weren't here before. You want to come up and know what your brand does. That's like step one, foundation. let's see. Like for mine, what do I provide? I provide confidence to business owners by helping them create images that communicate their story and attract their ideal client. So like that's what I do. So what they can achieve. And we also just discuss how brand words are a reflection of you, not just your business. So when someone visits your social media, your profile, they are having a conversation with you, not simply what's written on their screen. So it's important to determine how you're going to speak to them. And it's very important, besides knowing what problem you solve or what you help people achieve, you want to know who you are attracting. Who is your target audience? Who are the people that really need you? And that is a very important homework step to do. Who needs what you sell or the service you provide? And did anybody do their homework, or do you just know right off the cuff who you are wanting to attract? What person that is? Can you imagine them? I know everybody doesn't fit into a category, but does anybody want to venture out and say who you want to attract?
We just had this conversation the other day, Kim and I and Kurt, but I want to attract people who have passion to serve others and who are committed to doing the work.
Very good. So then you have to, so you know who you're wanting to attract. So the things that you say and do should be things that would accomplish that goal, to attract those people. And how do you want your audience to feel? So can anybody say how you want them to feel hopeful? Are you wanting them, I mean, some brands want you to feel angry, you know, some brands, so that you move. They use all kinds of different emotions.
I just want people to take away the idea that, well, gee, if Kurt can do it, so can I.
That's what I ditto that. I want to have people feel like whatever they want to do, no matter what it is, that it's possible. So I want, and I also want to, I don't know that I really finished that sentence. I want to serve people who know that they have more to do, and they know that they need other people to help them. They know they can't do it alone, and they are ready to, and they're not afraid to invest in themselves. They've stuck the stake in the ground, and they're going to go after their dreams no matter what. And so that's our thingy.
Very good. So you want to remember that when you're writing your post. So, and we'll refer back to that later. And what impressions do you want associated with your brand? So, Kurt, you're definitely a motivational type of person. So maybe you want to leave them motivated, or, you know, to do something they didn't think they can do. And you're giving them example of something that you've accomplished or that you've done against things that were in your way, you know, and that's what we all do, is move through those challenges and inspire. Maybe that's how the impression you want people to feel inspired. Does anybody else have another impression that you want associated with your brand? Like some things are like high end. There's all kinds of impressions that you can leave with them. So
Yeah, I want people to feel that they've actually helped somebody, that they accomplish, you know, a heartfelt desire to help someone else.
And are you giving them an opportunity to do that?
Oh yeah. Do I give my opportunity to do that? I think what I haven't emphasized, and maybe, I don't know how to get this in, is that it's work. You know, it's not, that's why you have to be committed to it. Serving other people requires sacrifice and giving. So it's not easy, but it brings joy is the end result.
Absolutely. Okay. We talked about what 3 words best describe your brand. And this is a really important exercise because in that, you can use words that talk about who you're attracting, or how do you want your audience to feel, or what impression do you want associated with the brand. We talked about those three things, but now those that were here last time and those of you that can just picture it in your head, or that have done the homework before, because this is another foundation to your brand, is deciding what three words represent your brand. And I'll give my example real quick. For Melody Carleen Photography, my three words are stunning, stylish, storytelling. My three words are actually even on my website, but I tried to run it through the filter. Does this represent those things? Is my work stunning, stylish, and storytelling, which is great for my contemporary portrait. But my new brand I'm building, which is Headshots Branding Photography, my words are entrepreneurs, and that answers the question, who are you attracting? Confident, which answers the question, how do you want your audience to feel? And on what impression do you want associated with your brand? I had two words, storytelling magnet, because I want people to be able to attract their ideal client. So storytelling magnet or storytelling magnet was like mine. Can anybody else give me the three words that you came up with that were here? Are you still working on it? Give me a word even. I know that you guys kept talking about desire, hope,
Yeah.
passion.
I've been using the hashtags handy capable, and then I just put LLTTF, living life to the fullest. I guess, and then just generic one, I guess, would be motivation if you wanted three.
Yeah, those are good. And you probably repeat that, because I've seen some of your marketing stuff. You repeat that idea throughout your different marketing. So it becomes even part of your brand. Even if it wasn't those exact words, those are what you're describing. So perfect. Anybody else? Somebody was it you, Kim, that was talking? I don't know if she's had to step away, but anybody else with a word, even if you don't have three, or you just throw them out there?
That's a good question. I think one word would be build for me. Another word would be hope.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to think about the other one.
Okay. And you used like heartfelt desire a lot. You used passion before, but those might not be your three. Bring it on down to like three words, and then
Yeah, passion is a good one. Give, I don't know how you express give, but yes.
And what we talked about last time is something you could do. You could take the words and then use a thesaurus. Like you have an idea and a thought, but it's not exactly your word. You can use that as tools to find your word. So keep that in mind.
Okay, that's a good idea.
What did you say?
It's a good idea.
Okay. So anyway, so what experience can you create around your brand? You want to think about that. You want to offer top-notch service. By treating your customers to top-notch service, you'll create a point of differential between you and your competitors. So think about your experience, what you do differently, or even if you're a speaker, how do you do it differently? How is your message different? Because every person is different. And a lot of times for entrepreneurs, that's why it's so personal when you have a brand, because you bring you to the table, and everyone offers something that's different, and those strengths are what draw people to you to be a speaker or to provide a service. So keep that in mind. Can anybody tell me about the experience your business creates that's special, or even about a great experience you had at a business that is a very good example of what made it a good experience? That, like going to a restaurant. Have you ever gone to a restaurant that it was a fantastic experience? It was like they treated you really special. They kept your water glasses filled. They, did everything up above and beyond. They knew what you wanted before you asked for it. Have you ever had that experience? And you left there like feeling, how did you feel? So like that's an example. Does anybody else have an idea of what they do that makes, and if you don't, as you're building your brand or reassessing your brand, think about what you can bring to the table that makes what you do special. So, yes, Cindy.
Melody. Because and you said it so very well, when it's your business, you're the entrepreneur, it is your brand, your personal brand you bringing to it. So even though I'm not using image potential for this new business or for the purposes of this class, and I'm thinking about this potential new business venture, it's still me. So one of my words would be visionary. But the other thing that I specialize in is customization. I'm not a one-size-fits-all educator, trainer, or coach, or thinking partner. I mean, I'm going to customize specifically to what that person's needs are. And I would do the same thing in creating someone's container for their front porch or a corner of their garden. It's going to be customized by getting to know that person and what matters to them and what are they passionate about and what are their favorite colors and what kind of look appeals to them. Very much like an interior designer would go and listen to a client, only my daughter and I would be designing containers and maybe a corner of somebody's garden. So I love that you emphasized that, because it is who we are. We're bringing that to our businesses. And so that's going to be true for me, regardless whether I'm talking about image potential or I'm talking about this other potential business idea. I'm still visionary. I'm still going to work very hard to customize the services that you experience and create. I mean, I'm all about creating exceptional experiences for people, whether I'm speaking to a group, or I'm teaching a class, or I'm going to be working with someone one-on-one to take them personal shopping to the nursery to help them pick things out, or go shopping for them if they don't have the time and pick out what they want. So that's so much a part of who I am. It's going to play into this business too.
And that nails it, because that's what's making it an exceptional experience. It's hard to get that kind of service, that makes it special. That means that you're really listening to that person to fill that need. And that's what people remember. That's what people talk about. And so you're right on track with that. And I heard some different words in there that you might want to consider about your words too, like customizing and I see Kim's like customize, and the different words that you were using, those are like something you might consider in your words too. So next we're going to talk about who you are attracting, and list in your mind, like list the reasons why people come to you for your product or service. And I'm going to move through this so I can give you some new content, because I like to try to keep it to an hour. I know we started late, and so if anybody wants to stay after 1 o'clock on here, we can continue to talk. But I want to get through the new content I wanted to share with you today. But just bringing up for the new people, we talked about the list of reasons people come to you for your product or service. How do they feel just before they visit your site? And what are your viewers thinking right before they visit your site? Because if you know that information, it's very easy to provide the answers without them searching for it. It's very smart business planning. So I am going to, we talked about some of the foundation as preparation, and now we're going to move towards some of the application in using this information that we've discovered about our brands and apply it in our social media. So in the next 11 minutes, I'm going to talk about how to plan a schedule for your social media. Because a lot of times, time is our friend, time is our enemy, time is a frenemy, right? Because we wish that we had more time, but staying organized and planning your social media, I call it batch posting or batch processing. It's much easier to get in a zone, like this is my social media day. And like say I want to do a month. What we're going to talk about is the epitome of planning like a month's worth of social media at one time. So that's what we're going to talk about, to try to, when you get into a zone, it's much easier to do that thing and move through it than it is to get into the zone for a week and into the zone for a week. And this way you can think it through. So I'm going to give you like some strategies in creating your post in social media, whichever it is, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, this works for all of that. So step one, decide how many times you want to post in a week. Okay. Are you a everyday poster? Do you want to post 3 times a week? Because when you post, you kind of need to be available to respond too, so that when you're attracting people in and they're commenting, you want to be able to respond and have a conversation with them. So you consider how many times you want to post a week. I did a website for an author, and he's an older gentleman. He was ex-CIA and all of that. He didn't want a social media every day. He didn't want to respond to posts every day. So he wanted Tuesdays to be his social media posts. So I created social media posts for him for 6 months. And he knew Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock, it was gonna go on. He was ready. He'd share it in all his groups. He'd respond to comments, and he was available. But some of you may want to post 5 times a week. So decide how many times you want to post. And step 2, and this is like, we're going to categorize the type of posts you would like to make. And I'm going to go through some different categories right now, and you can sketch them out there. I recommend that you choose about 5 categories, but this is how you can tell your story with some of the foundations we talked about that attract your ideal client. And so this is a great place on our foundations that we use. For example, like when we ask the question, who are you attracting? Talk to them. When you're doing your social media post, talk to those people that you're wanting to attract. Like they were sitting right there with you. What do they want to hear? What do they want to know about? Talk to them. How do you want your audience to feel? Share the posts that make them feel that way. So see, you have your foundation, and when you post, you're going to think of those. What impressions do you want associated with your brand, and what 3 words best describe your brand? Use all of these in these different categories I'm about to talk about. Number 1, behind the scenes or tutorials. So that's a great category to talk about what you love to do. Have you got any work traditions or things around your work, things that you love or are thankful for your business? Show what the experience is at your business. Teach a DIY, give a tour. Like that's all in the category of behind the scenes or tutorial. So that's one category. The next category is about me. So introduce yourself to new followers. And this is something you should do monthly or often, depending on if you're getting new followers. So maybe every month you want to post of introducing yourself and sharing something a little bit new about you. Tell a personal or even embarrassing things about you, because nothing attracts a person like an embarrassing thing that's relatable to another person. And it makes you very approachable. And a lot of times, believe it or not, perfection or the air of perfection is repelling to the average person, because most of us don't feel perfect at all. And when we're seeing something that's just real, and it's something we can relate to, it's very much a magnet. It very much attracts other people who get you. You could use words like most people describe me as, so maybe they'll learn something about you that they didn't know. Or this is why I love my job, tell a story. Ask people, could they tell you how did you meet me or how did you find out about me? That's a great way to open a conversation with your followers and see how they found out about you or how they knew. And it lets other people hear that too. Maybe even share a childhood memory. So those are the like about me's. And I can send this list out later, like we did the first homework if anybody wants these later. But my why, share your why. And this is a great place to use your foundation homework of who you're attracting, how you want the audience to feel, what impressions do you want associated with your brand. You can share the story of why you chose to start your business, who inspired you, thank a customer for following you or for the support they've given you, tell about your day and why it was special or why it was difficult, or even share a secret about yourself. So the third category is your why. The fourth category is benefits. And this is also a great place to use our homework about what problem do you solve, what do you help people achieve, what fears do you diminish? Those are all benefits. So use the homework you used in this category. You can also write about what's the nicest thing someone has said about you or your business and why did it mean so much? Have you seen or heard a client using your product or service in an unexpected way? Or what is your favorite part of seeing the client think or use it differently? What do you do? What is the value or benefit of what you sell? And why does someone need to use your business, buy your product or hire you? What makes the offering different and better than others? So this is under the category benefits. The fifth category is showcasing your product or service. So you could post a photo of your most popular item or post a photo of you doing the service that you do. Post a styled photo of how you package or ship your products. Like me, I could post a photo of a client I photographed. So that's showcasing, so showcase your product. And those are all like the product or service. Those were examples of like products. Showing, here's some examples of services. Post a photo of your employee in action, meeting, chatting with the client, doing what you do, helping plant flowers, like speaking to a group and who you're speaking to. Brenda, like showing your training of directors or leaders, or even give an example of a leader that you've trained doing what they do. That's a great story to tell. Post a photo with a customer. Are you working? And in the caption, explain why you enjoy this aspect of your work. Post a photo of a calendar or schedule with your daily list of the things you're going to do. That's very interesting and draws people in. In the caption, you can explain the task you must accomplish and why you love doing them, even if they're time consuming or complicated or labor intensive, and why they're worth it. The sixth category is personal insight. Talk about something you love or tell a confession, or even what music are you listening to today, or what book did you just read? But they get a personal insight into your personality. The seventh category is inspiration, encouragement, motivation. So a lot of you would use this. You might post your favorite quote and explain what it means to you. What's the best advice you've gotten? What would you tell yourself if you had a chance 10 years ago? Things like that, where you're talking about inspiration, encouragement, and motivation. And the eighth category is excuses to celebrate. So whether it's holidays, upcoming events, vacations, sales promotions, birthdays or anniversaries, these are all personal things that, I mean, maybe it's National Donut Day and you want to post about that day, and maybe if it's recipes or whatever along those ways. So then the next step after you take those categories is break your month into weeks. And once you've chosen like 5 categories, you could even say like Monday is this category day, Tuesday's this, Wednesday Thursday, Friday, and have a category for each day if you want to do it that way. And you could plan all your holidays, all your special events, lay it out in the calendar and say, okay, I want to talk about this, 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 this. And then like say your other category was benefits. And then that might be what you do on Wednesdays, or you want to do this so many times. You pick your day of your calendar and write that you want to talk about benefits that day, and do the same thing with the other categories. So you lay it out however many times you're wanting to post in the week, and on your calendar, write that, and then you can write posts and gather photos to tell that story. And by planning and telling the stories that are actually attracting the people that you're wanting to attract, then you'll start attracting more of them. So it's like a strategy to do that. I use a thing called a buffer to pre-post my posts, like on Facebook, or like I told you, the author that I did his social media for 6 months, I posted all of them in a buffer account, and it automatically put them to his Facebook. You can automatically post all the different social medias when you create those posts, and you like have them in the can, I call it. So it's all set up. Your month is in the can. It's all ready to go. And then you can launch them out. They have a free service. I think you can post up to 10 things for free. And it's a great place to start, get a taste of it. And if you love it like I did, then you can upgrade for $15 to like 100 posts. And there are other services that do the same kind of work, but if you're going to take the time to do the batch processing, it's really wonderful when you can have it all set up to go, and like on your calendar of your phone or your written calendar or whatever you use, you know, okay, today this is what I'm talking about. It's a great way to plan for a campaign. We could talk about campaigns later that use for Facebook, where you're getting people, where you're showing what you do, you're showing the need for it, and then you're saying, okay, I'm offering this right now, I have a special offer or something. You can plan ahead of time to do all of those posts, and then you know they're a warmed up audience for what you're about to offer. So those were the main things. Like for the homework this week are to break out your columns, choose how many times you want to post in a week, which categories do you want to use, and then use it to like outline your work. And you're referring back to, go back over your first homework where we were talking about all those things, and say, are these reflected in here? Because you are on purpose, you're reaching out and telling your story according to who you're wanting to reach and who you are and what's special about you. Always refer back to those things, run it through that filter and see, are you accomplishing that? Because your social media will become much more targeted with who you're reaching, and that's what makes it successful. And we're at 1:03 for those of you who need to know or go. But other than that, the next class, I have to talk to Kim about availability, and we'll get it out. It'll be in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Kim, I don't know if you're there right now. Okay, let's take a look at it. She may have had to run off to a client. I bet she did. Okay, that's fine. So we'll get it back out to you when the next one is going to be. And what I'll be discussing next time is how to increase your discoverability on social media. So that's what that's like the next step in this, and that's what I'll be discussing. But does anybody have any comments or questions about today and the things that we went through? I think it was important for me to review the first class, because those are really your foundations. And the reason you're doing them is to turn around and use them in your social media so you're going after things with a plan and a purpose. So thank you, Cindy. Got your comment? Wonderful.
Thank you, Melody. What did you say it's called? Is it buffer account?
Yes, buffer. So, and there's a few. If you go to buffer.com, I believe it is, I'm looking at it. Yes. And I still have my Zoom like you have.
It's okay. I can find it. Yeah,
Yeah,
I can find
it's
it.
a 14-day free trial, it says now. It used to be more, so I guess that they're, take a look here.
Brenda, make sure you go to buffer, not buff.
Okay. Okay.
Like a comedian, yeah. Very, yeah, very good, very good. But you know what? The free one, they must have just stopped. So you get 2 weeks of free on it now. And I pay the $15 for the pro, and it's worth every penny. I can do 100 scheduled posts, and I can put it on 8 different social media accounts. So that makes it.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Yes. Kurt, did you see that? Humor is
That's
one
all.
of
Yes.
I did. She's told me that before.
It's so true. It's so true. It's so true. I wanted to say this because you're both on here and what you're saying is so similar. But Brenda, it's really sounds just like you take your business, once you create your business plan, which answers a lot of those questions that Melody asked. So you really,
Right.
if you write a good business plan, then you can really use your business plan to answer the question, to align with your social media.
And that's, I
Right.
know stuff that Cindy uses too in branding. And
Oh, right.
and once you know what that is, it's so much easier to use it and have a strategy. You're right. And go after that target. But when you're just running around without a plan and you're not even sure what to post, this kind of has a way to take you to a whole nother level.
Right.
And then,
Yes.
and once this homework's done, like for me as a branding photographer, some people haven't done the work, some people have. And so I can help them to get that if they don't know. And then what social media, what upcoming events, what things do they have, and how do you need your images? I can shoot to fill the need. Like if you need shots for your website or this or that, and the same thing for your business. Once you know what it is you're trying to accomplish, like Kurt, maybe you're looking for speaking engagements or you want to highlight a new topic that you've just done and can show a bit of it, like really like by expressing it. Because if we just know you're a speaker, there's still so many question marks. But the more we see about you and we see the humor or we see the inspiration or we see those things and feel those things, then we're drawn to like, I want to hire you because I want you to talk to this group. You're perfect to speak to this group. And that's where we all need to use who we are, what our strengths are, and just relate that and communicate that, because that's what will draw your perfect, client. And we don't want all clients. I mean, we don't want to try to fit into all their lists. If we're just us and we attract those people who want what we offer. But so many times it's hard to speak about yourself or to like communicate who you are without feeling like you're being braggadocious or something like that. Testimonials are wonderful. I should have that as a category. You can add that. Testimonials, because when other people say how you benefited them, then that's social proof, and that helps people say, oh, she did this for them and he could do this for me. So testimonials is always a great way to tell your story. So
Kim,
Melody, what's
Kim,
your email?
my email is melody@melodycarlene, MELODYCARLENE.com. So melody@melodycarlene.com.
Okay, thank you.
And Kurt, you were going to say something?
I just like Kim, if she's prepared to share with you, she had stepped away since the group's all here about the upcoming schedule.
Okay, yes. As far as our next class, Kim, I didn't get a chance to touch base with you. I was saying either in 2 weeks on a Friday or in 3 weeks on a Friday. Do you have your calendar available?
I don't. And we're going to look at taking the summer off for the other success groups. I've talked to some of the other coaches, but I know you just got started, Melody, so I don't want to and we've got a good thing going here. So it's okay. I think it would be fine because the other ones have been going since January. So they've been going January, February, March, April, May, now June. They've been going literally since February. Cindy, was January
No,
or February?
we started in November.
Oh, geez. So yeah, without a break.
Because Master Your Message was the first one.
No.
Right. And Brenda, you started in January?
It's
Or-
all flowing together now.
Yeah, I
All
know.
the dates.
So anyways, they've been going every month for 5 or 6 months without a break. And I have a couple of ideas to kind of refresh things. So I kind of thought we'd take a July and August off and then kind of come back with a, bang. We're going to do June and then come back with a bang. So I'd like to at least do one more with you in June, Melody, if you're willing. And
Yes,
then if
let's
you
do
wanted
one.
to, if there was another, let's see what happens. If all of you guys show up at the next session and you're still in tune and growing and want more, and if Melody's willing to teach another class in July, we can certainly do that. But we need people to be committed and show up and do the homework and, and be serious about what it is you're hoping to accomplish.
Right.
And I'm available either the June 19th or the 26th at noon again, Kim.
Okay, hang on. Let me look real quick. Okay, so let's see. This was the first. So the third Thursday, BYOB is the 18th. So that would be the third Friday. So we certainly could do the third Friday, and the next would be the fourth Friday. So could we do the 19th, Melody?
Absolutely. So that's 2 weeks from today.
At noon.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys, I'll send out this link again, but it will be the same link. I think I can make it the same link. Oh, I might have just okay, it can be the same link. Maybe,
Okay.
but I'll send it out no matter what.
All right.
I'm going to go
It's
ahead
on
and
my calendar.
stop the recording for those who are watching. I hope you guys will join us on Friday, June 19th at noon.